Namaste. Hi. I'd like to talk about inversions in today's topic and how this upside down position can benefit us physically, energetically, mentally, and aid us in the practice of meditation. When we do inversions, we drain the lower extremities of excess fluid and blood accumulating to those body parts from prolonged standing, sitting, walking, and just generally doing our everyday tasks. And even lying down, is not enough to drain these lower extremities. And inversions effectively reverses the downward flow of the energy. And it's like recycling our energetic elements. So it goes back to the circulatory system. And therefore, this drains the nerves. And if you suffer from varicose veins, for example, yes, hemorrhoid, could alleviate hemorrhoid, as well as hernia, around the regions of your digestive tract. It could solve a digestion problem. Yes, I could personally attest to that. Every time I feel like constipated, I do an inversion, and then right away it has this instantaneous stimulation of the digestive function. All right. Cardiovascular system, you increase the pressure there, and therefore you train your lungs and your heart to work. To adapt to the pressure, therefore you strengthen them. And then cranially, this increases the compression in the brain and specifically affected the pituitary gland and the pineal gland. And these glands are important in the function of our endocrine system, as well as attaining a higher state of subtle awareness when we practice meditation. However, all right. There are contraindications in practicing inversions. Of course, if you're just beginning the practice, you don't do advanced inversion. Generally, 90% of us, downward dog is recommended. This one, although this may not be as draining to the lower extremities, but it's good enough to train the head, train the brain, train the heart and the lungs to absorb the pressure. And you can do alternate leg lift. That's why in my classes I always do this, because it's the next, I say, best thing to those full inversion, lifting alternate there, and I like that. And this is also good for releasing tension in the lower extremities. All right, when you're able to advance now over time, when the upper back strengthen, when your cardiorespiratory strengthen, maybe 2 or 3 years into the practice, you may now tackle intermediate inversions. And in Hatha Yoga, there's only one inverted asana prescribed, and that's the Viparita Karani. Viparita Karani is where it's like shoulder stance, but you're not doing the complete vertical. In the Viparita Karani, you just lift your hips up and your spine is not fully stacked over the shoulders. Rather, your spine is angled towards the 45 or the 60 degrees. And then your feet are just in front of your eyesight. And in the Viparita Karani, you combine the other mudras of Hatha Yoga, namely the Napo Mudra, the sealing of the tongue against the hard palate. That's one mudra you combine with the Viparita Karani, the Ujjayi Pranayama, as well as the Shambhavi Mudra, where you're looking towards the dark spot of your eyebrows, either half open or internal Shambhavi Mudra. And of course, the release, you know how to do that. I've given a tutorial about this, so you may want to have a look at that in-depth lesson on the Viparita Karani, so you can appreciate the entire technique. All right, another inversion, but it's not Hatha Yoga anymore. It's part of the modern practice, is the shoulder stand. Similar to Viparita, but your hips are perfectly stacked over the shoulders, and the Shirsasana. The headstand, this one. Okay, headstand may seem complex, but once you're able to learn it, it's actually easy to perform. In the headstand, you're not actually pressing to the head, rather, you're using the upper back, the shoulders, and of course, the internal mechanism of the core and the flexibility of the hips for you to hold this without pressure. And in inversions, you should be able to breathe, There's no point of doing inversions if you're gasping, if you're struggling the breath. Rather, you should be able to breathe fully, mindfully, and completely. And of course, you don't crush the release. You should be able to release a position the way you enter it. I don't recommend kicking the handstand. I don't recommend jumping the handstand. My technique is you have to press through them. Otherwise, you have to do the lesser advanced versions of those inversions. And of course, with the guidance of the teacher. Yeah. Now keep developing your hips. The hips are very important. Keep developing the strength of the upper back to be able to withstand the pressure. And of course, the cardiorespiratory system, because at the end of the day, you have to breathe while you're up there. Okay, now, what else? Viparita Karani, I'd like to focus on that. When you're learning the Viparita Karani and then you're still building the confidence, you might use the prop, such as folded blanket, just to create that extra space for the head to rest on. And then to completely support the neck. Yeah. And you're lifting your Viparita Karani. My microphone is getting in the way. All right, and then here it's lighter. All right, because the elevation adds that additional padding and support for your shoulders and the neck. All right, now the structure. Inversions are practiced towards the end of your session or your asana. All right, so after you've worked on your spine, back bend, side stretch, and twisting, forward bends, arm balancing, you do inversions. For me, inversions are mudras. Mudras are ways to channel the energy, similarly to the Nabha Mudra, Shambhavi Mudra, to open the pathway of the energy leading to the brain. So it's like bringing the energy, the apana vayu, from the hips up to the brain, the energy we accumulated and produced during the practice from the body to the brain. Therefore, it's meditative. It will give you this sense of calm, peace, expansive, I say, sensation. Yeah, like you want to relax, but you are fully awake, and then you use that awareness in your practice of meditation. So how many repetitions? I recommend 2 repetitions. The first repetition is always like the trial, and then you flow after each repetition. And I suggest just flowing through a vinyasa. A back bend is also recommended after the inversion, such as, for example, if you're doing the Ustrasana or any simple back bend for that matter, just to open the disc of your spine and then do another round of your inversions. All right. Sometimes you will feel blockages clogging the nostrils in between repetitions. So if you feel moist there, do a round of Kapalbhati, and then recover the breath and do another round of inversions. Okay, now inversions, although there are many benefits, we have to do it regularly. It's not an overnight, I say, cure or treatment, or it's not an overnight wonder. It has to be practiced regularly, consistently. If you can do it every day, do it every day. And yes, the benefit happens, it's I'd say it's a long time practice for us to benefit from, but once it happens, your body knows how to do it instinctively, spontaneously. Therefore, you don't have to do many inversions. I don't do headstand all the time, but I do downward dog all the time. I do Viparita Karani towards the end of my practice, and those would suffice for me to keep the circulation healthy and functioning. Sweet. Okay, so inversions, practice it, but with care, of course, with care and proper guidance. I'll see you in the next one. Namaste.